Fred here, the guy who will help you become a Photoshop monster. Don't worry, you will be a friendly monster, at least I hope so. I mean, you won't kill anyone, right? Anyway, enough talking. Today we're going to create this project here. Okay, we're not going to create the full project, but I will show you the most important thing. I will show you how to create this so what text with all this glitchy stuff, with all this liquid stuff, so that you can create this on any of your own images and it's gonna be cool. So yeah, let's go to Photoshop and let's just press create new. And okay, width is 1000, height is 1 to 50, resolution 300. Make sure it's pixel selected, color mode RGB color, and let's press create. Not just the normal stuff. So anyway, first of all, unfortunately I can't give you that image, but you can use any other image that you can find. For example, on Unsplash, you can just go to Unsplash and you'll be able to find tons of quality images there and use in your own projects. So just search here for whatever portrait or whatever. I use Unsplash for all of my projects, and then you can go back here and continue. So let me just put this image into my work. Where is it? Okay, I found the image. Let's just place it in Photoshop. And as you can see, yeah, I guess you would have never expected that it's actually in the swimming pool, because you see it's so zoomed in and you don't actually see what's happening. Yeah, so we actually need to zoom it in really close, like this. I would say maybe even more, just a bit, like this, and place it. Okay, so let's press OK. So first of all, let's go to this layers panel. Let's go to background and delete this thing, because we never need it. It's always there when we create a project, but we never really use it, so I'll just delete it. And now, so how are we going to create this liquid glitch effect? Okay, so let's go here and choose hue saturation, and now let's take hue and make it a little bit left. Let's take saturation and make it like a little bit high. Something like that would be fine, you know. Just, yeah, it doesn't really matter what kind of, like, what numbers do you have here. Just make sure hue is left or right, doesn't really matter. Make sure saturation is quite high. Okay, and also let's create a new layer, so just press here, and now let's make sure this empty layer is located between the image and this hue saturation. What do we need to do right now is we need to go here, press right, and choose Smudge Tool. So usually you're going to see here Blur Tool, but we need this Smudge or Smudge Tool. I still haven't figured out how to pronounce that correctly, but anyway, let's take this Smudge Tool, and so let me close it. What we actually need to do right now, we need to go to Window and open Brush Settings. Where is it? Brush Settings. So you're going to have this panel here opened. So this panel is actually going to help us to change our brush tip, because most likely you're going to have here round brush circle, but we don't need the circle. We need to go here, and here let's take this brush, okay, this one, and also let's make sure spacing is 1%, so just brings this to 1. So now, as you can see, we don't have the circle brush anymore. We have this kind of random brush that's going to help us create tons of amazing stuff. I use it almost in any of my projects, like seriously, it's so good. And now also make sure you have here sample layer selected, make sure this is normal, and see the magic now. If we start drawing, wow, how did that happen? You might ask yourself. So why do we see so many colors? So first of all, this is happening because we have here this hue saturation layer, and we are using Smudge Tool. This tool helps us to blend images, to blend different effects, and so on. In our case, basically we have here hue saturation, and hue saturation is basically like tons of colors. So for example, as we can see here, you see hue. So right now what this brush actually does, it's blending all of the hues, basically all of the colors. That's why we see so many rainbows here. Okay, if you still didn't understand how this works, just don't worry, just make sure you always follow this structure. If you always follow this structure, then you're going to have this. So this should be empty, hue saturation here, and this image here. So now let's just, you know, color, make sure you have this layer selected, the empty one, and let's just start drawing. So now we just need to draw. If you look here, so we just need to draw something like that. Okay, you can also make your brush bigger if you want to, and then the effect is going to be a little bit different. Oops, let's go back. Let's go like this. Make this smaller, make the brush smaller. Okay. So just like I said, I'm not going to show you the whole project, but I'm going to show you the main thing, just like I'm doing right now. Okay, perfect. So now when you have that, let's turn off hue saturation and see what we have here. You see, now we can turn off hue saturation and we're still going to have this colorful, this really cool colors. So what do we do next? Next thing that we do is actually, for example, if we go here and then we choose vibrance and we make the vibrance somewhere here, actually make the vibrance 100, saturation around 70, no, let's make around 83, something like that, maybe even more. Okay, and let's now choose our layer, and if we go here to normal, for example this layer, we can just change to different blending modes. And for example, if we choose here color dodge, you see it's almost the same effect that we have on my project. Or you can also, you know, go through other effects and see, maybe you want to choose something else. For example, no, this also looks pretty nice, I would say, but I'm gonna go with this one, color dodge. Exactly. In the description below there is a free Photoshop course that will take you from 0 to pro and help you create amazing magical stuff. So right now, as you can see, here the colors are a little bit different from this project here. That's because I actually color graded this image before I started editing it, and it actually takes lots of time. So that's why I'm not going to show you that, but I will show you how to create a similar effect. So what you could basically do, if you turn on this hue saturation, for example, and we could actually just reduce the saturation a little bit and change the hue to something like that. Perfect. So now the color of the image looks similar to the one that I have on my own project. And for example, here we just need to create the text right now. So let's just go to text and press here, and we need to write so what. So, and wait, it was all capital if I remember right. So what? And let's press OK for now. So if you look here, okay, I was just trying to remember what is the font. So now make sure your text is selected, go to character panel. If you don't have it here, always, just like always, go to window and make sure you press this character and it's going to open. So first of all, let's change the font. I'm actually using font called Railway. It's normally not installed on your laptop, but again, you can go and download it online. It's a free font, you can just download it, or you can just use any other font that you want to. And I'm going to use Railway Black. Okay, but that's not big of a deal. We can just use any other font. And also let's press on the color and change it to white. So now let's change the size. So this should be fine. Okay, let's choose the first tool and move our text. Now we need to edit our text a little bit, and maybe we need to warp it, change the size, rotate it, and so on. So let's press right here on the text and choose here convert to smart object. Like this, we can easily, it's going to be much easier to transform our text basically. And now let's go to edit and free transform. First of all, we need to rotate the text like this. The next thing we need to do, we need to make sure it's kind of warped around her face like this, you know. So it looks good. Let's press right, and now let's choose warp. And for example, with warp, so we can just, again, if you didn't get how I got warp, so again, if you go to edit, free transform, and when you are in the transformation mode, you can just press right and you can choose here warp. Okay, so with warp we can actually warp anything on any surface. So for example, right now we can just press and drag the image, and as you can see, when I press and drag the image, I can warp it around her face. So for example, I can press and drag on this point and so on. Let's get actually a little bit closer so it's easier for us, like this. So yeah, it takes some time. Something like this should be fine. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, let's press OK right now. So now what do we do when we have this text? We just need to make sure that this glitch effect here is showing only on our text. How do we do that? Very easy. So choose your text, press right here on the thumbnail. So not here, not on the text, but exactly here. Okay, press right and you will have here select pixels. Press it. Now turn off your text, go to your layer. So this layer basically is a glitch one, and when you have this text selected, you can just press mask and see what happens. Magic! We have here this text and it looks cool. So like this we just created a mask for this glitch effect, and now it shows only the text part. But we're still not done. We also need to create this liquid part basically. So in order to do that, create a new layer. And now what do we need to do? So first of all, let's turn off all of this. Okay, and also let's go to our this layer and bring it from color dodge back to normal. That's very important. Now let's go back to our empty layer and let's create a new hue saturation. Now this is just make it left, make saturation high. So we're going to use that just to create the glitch effect again. Go back to this empty layer, take this tool again, and with the same parameters basically we need to, oops, what's happening? Yeah, we need to create the liquid part. So for example, this is going to flow like this here. And then we are going to have some of this over here like this. Then we are going to have some of this over here. So I would suggest you make your brush really small actually, and like this you can better control the flow. So that's actually very important. If the flow is good, then your image is going to look good as well. So you just have to draw like this. So again, we are creating these parts here, the flowing parts, okay, the liquid parts. If you don't want to watch this thing, just just go ahead, okay, or you can just pause the video, do it yourself, and then you can come back. How's that? Or maybe you can just go and drink some tea or coffee, whatever, just some relaxation. Okay, yeah, as you can see, this is not an easy job. It takes lots of time. So I need to do more and more and more and more. And also something here, for example. So every time it needs to get smaller and smaller. It starts with a bigger floor, and then till the end, of course, it needs to get smaller like this. Okay, finally. So now let's turn off this hue saturation. Okay, let's turn back on this vibrance and this hue saturation. And now what we need to do, we need to select this layer here. Basically, this is the layer that we have all this liquid thingies on, and then we have this text layer. Okay, and we need to select both of them. So again, hold Control if you have Windows. If you have Mac, hold Command, and then select the another layer as well, and then go here and choose color dodge. Let's see, maybe something else. No, color dodge is the best option actually right now. So when we did that, of course we need to do a few more things. So create a new layer, one more, again an empty new layer. Again, you have to choose Smudge Tool. And now what we can actually do with this Smudge Tool right now, we can just actually do some cool stuff. So for example, if I press and drag, so you see what's going to happen. So now this is going to mix this effect here with the face, and that's why we have here these red things. So it just depends on your taste. If you want to do that, you can just have it, but I think it kind of looks cool. And also what you could do is you could add some liquid parts here, but also make sure you go to strength and make it a little bit smaller, because that's actually too strong. For example, or you can turn off your hue saturation. Okay, and wait, sorry, turn off hue saturation, turn off vibrance, and try to do it now, because right now, as you can see, it looks different. So you can play with it. For example, you can do something like that, just add a little bit glitchiness like this. The Smudge Tool actually helps us to drag things. That's why it looks liquid, because we're actually dragging them. So yeah, I mean, of course, all of this you need to do more accurate. And now let's turn them back on. And now you can continue working. So yeah, it's just like this. You have to go forward and back, and create this kind of glitchy effect here. And and yes, I get it. I agree that this image, this project, actually the glitch effect here looks better, but that's because I spent much more time here. I spent like, I think, 3 hours on creating only this glitch effect. So you need to be pretty precise, I would say. You need to go really close, and then you have to start and do this one by one, and then you have to go back if you don't like it, and so on. So it takes lots of time. That's why it doesn't look the same, since I created this only in a few minutes. But I mean, at least now you know why it doesn't look the same, because that's actually a very big difference if you spend more time on the project or you spend less time on the project. The main point of this tutorial was to explain you the technique used behind this the creation of this project, and now you know it. Now you can apply this technique to any of your own projects and create different cool stuff, basically. And I have been using this technique on so many different projects. I mean, almost every okay, not every, but you know, you get it. For example, here again, glitchy, colorful glitch, sorry. Or let's see, here again, colorful glitch. You can see colorful glitch. So this one is actually pretty cool, don't you think so? So again, you get my point, and that's it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe, okay, so you don't miss my future tutorials, and always stay updated. Bye.